They benched the one player who could have saved them, Shedeur. He hasn't played a snap, and yet he's already torn the locker room in half. Veterans are furious. Young players are confused. Fans are demanding answers. The coaching staff? Silent, scared, and spiraling. The team isn't united, they're divided, torn between loyalty to a franchise legend in the making and a coaching regime that refuses to give him a chance. If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed. This was supposed to be the start of a new era. The Browns finally had a quarterback with talent, presence, and the support of an entire city. Shedeur wasn't just hyped, he was ready. Everyone saw it. Everyone felt it, except the people calling the shots. And now, the locker room is turning on itself. Practices are tense. Morale is collapsing. The veterans, the real voices in that building, have made it clear they want Shedeur now. But head coach Kevin Stefanski keeps doubling down on patience, even as the team fractures under the weight of indecision. This isn't just mishandling a quarterback. This is betrayal. Betrayal of a locker room that knows who their leader is. Betrayal of fans who believed a new chapter had begun. Betrayal of a player who's done everything right and is still being told to wait. And for what? To protect egos? To delay the inevitable? To avoid admitting that the rookie is already better than the veteran? The Browns have a choice. Unleash Shedeur and let this team rally behind the future. Or keep burying him and watch the franchise collapse from the inside out. Because this isn't just another Cleveland quarterback saga. This is a meltdown in real time. And the clock is ticking. Shedeur, a rookie who hasn't played a single NFL down. A quarterback with 0 pro snaps. And somehow the most polarizing figure in the building. You can feel it. The tension. The awkwardness. The division. What started as hype, a wave of excitement, optimism, and buzz, has now snowballed into a bitter cold war between players, coaches, and front office egos. Because while Shedeur is busy quietly waiting for his chance, the team around him is splintering. And it's not just about football anymore. It's about control, power, trust, and who really holds the keys to the future of the franchise. Let's rewind. When Shedeur arrived in Cleveland, he didn't just bring a name. He brought hope. A quarterback with talent, charisma, leadership, and that undeniable factor. He wasn't just another guy thrown into the depth chart. He was the guy. Fans saw it. Players felt it. And the league, well, they built half their preseason marketing around him. He was supposed to be the future. But instead of handing him the reins, or even letting him breathe, the Browns tucked him away. Quietly, strategically, deliberately. And that decision? It broke the locker room. Sources say the divide inside the team is real, tangible. You got veteran players, some of the most respected voices in the room, who believe Shedeur should be starting right now. They've seen him in practice. They've watched him make throws their current starter can't. They've heard him command huddles, seen the way younger players rally around him, and they know leadership when they see it. And yet he's still benched. Why? Well, that depends on who you ask. The coaching staff, particularly head coach Kevin Stefanski, has been spinning the same vague lines for weeks. He's progressing well. We're being patient. It's a long season. But behind that curtain, the story is murkier. Some insiders say Stefanski is scared, afraid of putting a rookie in too early and watching him struggle. Others believe it a power move, a way to keep the kid humble, to maintain control, and prevent the team from becoming his too quickly. But whatever the motive, the damage is done. The trust is broken. Because the players, they see it differently. To them, this isn't strategy. It's sabotage. A fear-driven decision that's wasting talent and costing them wins. And worse, it's creating a culture of confusion. A team that doesn't know what it wants to be. And when you have a team full of alpha athletes, guys who play through pain, grind every day, and give everything on the field, you can't afford to look weak from the top down. You can't afford mixed signals. And right now, that's all the Browns are giving. You got one faction of the locker room asking, what are we doing? And another, mostly staff and cautious voices, whispering, "Let's not rush." And Shedeur, caught in the middle, unbothered on the surface. But underneath, you know it burns. Because how could it not? Imagine walking into a franchise that hasn't had a stable quarterback in decades, showing up every day, outperforming the guys ahead of you, hearing the crowd chant your name, and still being told, "Not yet." It's not just frustrating, it's disrespectful. And the fans feel it too. Every week, the pressure grows. The chants get louder. The questions sharper. Sports talk shows are eating this story alive. Every time the Browns offense sputters, Twitter explodes with the same question: "Where's Shedeur?" And the Browns have no answer. Not a real one. Anyway, meanwhile, the longer Stefanski waits, the more credibility he loses, not just with the media, but with the men he's supposed to be leading. Because a head coach in the NFL isn't just a play caller. He's a CEO, a general, and right now, his army's divided. It's one thing to keep a young quarterback on the bench to protect him. That happens. We get it. But it's another thing entirely to stall his career out of fear, or pride, or politics. And that's what this looks like now. Because here's the truth that no one in the Browns building wants to say out loud. The locker room has already chosen their guy, and it's not the current starter. That doesn't mean they hate the guy under center. But loyalty in the NFL is earned. It's about belief, momentum. And right now, the emotional center of that team, the pulse, is moving towards Sanders. Every day he sits, that current gets stronger. And the more the coaching staff resists it, the more explosive the fallout becomes. Because here's what no one's ready for. This could turn into a full-blown mutiny. Veteran leaders have leverage. If they start tuning out the coaches, or sending messages to the media, or even subtly shifting their effort levels in protest. That's it. The season unravels. Fast. And if you don't think that can happen in Cleveland, you haven't been paying attention. This is a franchise that's made chaos an annual tradition. A team that's seen more quarterback changes than playoff appearances. A city starving for consistency, hope, direction. And now, they're watching it slip away again. Because of ego, because of fear, because someone at the top is trying to protect a narrative instead of just playing the damn game. The worst part? They could fix this tomorrow. All it takes is one decision. One brave, clear-eyed call. Start Shedeur Sanders. Hand him the ball. Let him lead. Let him make mistakes. Let him grow. Let the locker room breathe again. Let the city believe again. But the longer they wait, the more fractured this thing becomes. The more every incompletion feels like sabotage. The more every snap not taken by Sanders feels like a betrayal. And if Stefanski keeps clinging to control while everything around him crumbles, he won't just lose the locker room. He'll lose his job. So now the Browns are at a crossroads. Do they stay stubborn, hold the line, and hope the locker room somehow forgets what they already know? Or do they embrace the moment and finally give their future a chance to begin? Because if they don't, Shedeur's next game won't be in a Browns jersey. And Cleveland will have let another star walk out the door. For what? Pride? Control? Fear? You tell me. Sound off in the comments. Would you start Shedeur now? Has Stefanski already lost the locker room? Is this just another Browns quarterback curse repeating itself in real time? Subscribe for more weekly breakdowns of the NFL's biggest meltdowns, power plays, and coaching implosions. Because this isn't just drama. This is the beginning of the end, or the last chance to turn around. Because what's happening inside the Cleveland Browns organization right now? This isn't some early season growing pain. It's not your standard QB controversy, either. No, this is something else. This is a kind of tension that either leads to a legendary comeback story or a franchise-shattering implosion that people will still be talking about 10 years from now. And at the very center of it all, cool as ever, sitting in the eye of the storm, is Shedeur Sanders, a rookie with no NFL starts, holding all the power. And he didn't even ask for it. Because here's the thing no one in the Browns front office seems to understand. They created this moment. They fanned the flames, built the hype, leaned into the Sanders name, sold the jerseys, tease the promos, and let the entire football world believe that Shedeur was coming to save Cleveland. Then they benched him, without warning, without justification, without any acknowledgement that what they were doing wasn't just disappointing. It was infuriating. And now they're facing a full-blown locker room revolt. You think I'm being dramatic? I'm not. This isn't just some anonymous Instagram like or a throwaway press comment. No, this is bigger. This is players walking off the practice field muttering, "It should be his team." This is position coaches being forced to mediate behind closed doors because the offensive huddle is divided. This is respected veterans, guys who bled for this team, pulling assistants aside and saying point blank, "If you want to win, play the kid." That's not noise. That's not media hype. That's a problem. Because once a coach loses a room, really loses it, it's over. It doesn't matter how smart your game plan is. If the players don't believe in your decisions, it falls apart. Fast. And right now, Kevin Stefanski is losing them. Let's talk about him for a second. Stefanski is supposed to be the adult in the room, the voice of reason, the guy who keeps the team focused, unified, aligned. But instead, he looks like a man caught in the headlights, trying to stick to a plan that clearly isn't working, hoping that patience will save him from the tide of criticism crashing down. But you know what patience looks like when the whole world is watching and your team is falling apart? Cowardice. Because no one's asking for perfection from Shedeur Sanders. They're asking for effort, a chance, a spark. Instead, they're getting safe play calls, lifeless drives, and a quarterback rotation that feels like a bad rerun from every Brown season since 1999. And don't think the fans don't notice. You walk around Cleveland right now, and it's everywhere. The jerseys, the talk shows, the diner conversations, the college students yelling out of car windows. It's not just when will Shedeur play anymore. It's why are we actively trying not to win? That's what it feels like to them. Like the team is deliberately holding itself back. And whether that's true or not doesn't matter. Because in sports, perception becomes reality. If your players think you're afraid of your own future, they stop trusting you. If your fans think you're scared to take a risk, they stop showing up. If your quarterback, the one guy who could actually shift all of this, gets benched while the team limps through another uninspired loss, you lose everything. And the worst part? They still have time to fix it. But it's running out. Let me lay it out as simply as possible. You got a young quarterback, loved by the locker room, endorsed by the fan base, marketable, poised, and mentally tough. He's got bloodlines. He's got leadership. He's got the ability. And he's ready. You also have a team that's spiraling, players frustrated, veterans disengaging, a head coach with no answers, a fan base that's 2 weeks away from turning completely. And you're choosing to stick with a plan that nobody believes in? Tell me how that ends well. Because here's what's next if nothing changes. The locker room turns completely. Stefanski loses all credibility. Shedeur's camp starts making noise, loudly. And another team, probably one smarter, more stable, more forward-thinking, starts sniffing around. You think Shedeur wants to waste 3 years of his prime on the bench while the Browns figure out their identity again? Please. This kid has seen what happens when players are undervalued. He's been raised by someone who knows what it means to be overlooked, doubted, dismissed. And unlike so many others, he has the leverage to walk. He doesn't need Cleveland. Cleveland needs him. And the only reason this hasn't exploded already? Because he's been quiet. But don't mistake quiet for complacent. Shedeur's silence isn't surrender. It's patience. It's watching. It's measuring the people around him. And when he finally speaks, whether with his play or his voice, it's going to hit like a thunderclap. And by then, it might be too late for the Browns to fix it. So what do they do now? They need to make a choice. A real one. No more vague comments. No more hiding behind development timelines. No more cowardice. Because this team is fracturing. And everyone sees it. They can give Shedeur the ball. Let the team rally. Let the fan base believe again. Let the kid make mistakes. But let him grow. Let him lead. Or they can wait. They can stall. Stick to the plan. Keep losing games. Keep alienating players. Keep gaslighting the fan base. And watch it all burn down. Again, because you can bench a quarterback, but you can't bench momentum. You can't bench belief. And you definitely can't bench destiny. And Shedeur Sanders? He might be sitting now, but his time is coming. And when it does, Cleveland better hope they're still part of the story. The Cleveland Browns have been here before, on the edge of something great, something game-changing, something that could finally rewrite the narrative, and every single time, somehow, they trip over their own ego. And here they are again, staring greatness dead in the face, and instead of seizing it, they're stalling. But this time, it feels different. Why? Because this time, they're not just mishandling a quarterback. They're actively betraying the soul of their team. And that soul right now is wearing number 2 and waiting on the sidelines. Shedeur Sanders didn't ask for this storm. He didn't manufacture this drama. He came in head down, work first, and earned the respect of his teammates the old-fashioned way, by being that dude. He earned it through the way he carried himself, the way he commanded practice, and the way guys in the locker room, many of them with years under their belts, naturally gravitated toward him. But instead of riding that wave, instead of building a culture around a young star everyone already believed in, the Browns decided to fight the current, and now they're drowning. Let's talk about what's really going on here, because the front office won't. The coaching staff definitely won't. And Shedeur? He's too smart to feed the media beast. But behind the scenes, it's not quiet. Oh no, it's boiling. You've got positional groups at odds. Wide receivers frustrated. Running backs asking why they're running into 8-man boxes while the offense refuses to evolve. Defensive players who've been busting their asses to keep the team competitive, asking themselves why the offense can't put points on the board when there's an NFL-ready quarterback watching from the sidelines. And again, this isn't speculation. This is reality. One player, anonymously quoted, said it best. We're not a team right now. We're a debate. That line right there, that should terrify the front office. Because once your locker room stops seeing itself as a unit and starts feeling like they're stuck in someone else's power struggle, you're done. The season's cooked. And it's only September. So why is Shedeur still sitting? Let's talk about control. See, Shedeur doesn't fit the mold. He's confident, but not cocky. Calm, but not passive. He's not loud. He's not arrogant. He's just undeniable. And for a certain kind of NFL coach or exec who thinks players should wait their turn, who still believes that leadership must be earned through silence and obedience, that kind of presence scares them. Because if Shedeur succeeds now, then every decision that led to this point looks questionable. Every time they chose a different QB, every time they said, he's not ready, every time they ignored what everyone else could already see. If Shedeur steps in and delivers, then those guys aren't just wrong. They're exposed. And ego in NFL, it doesn't just get in the way. It writes the game plan. So instead of embracing what could be the beginning of a new era for Cleveland, a real shot at building something not just good, but magnetic, they're burying it, wrapping it in PR statements and strategic patience and developmental timelines that feel more like excuses than explanations. Meanwhile, Shedeur shows up every day, takes the meetings, runs the scout team, stays after practice, supports his teammates, does everything right, and still nothing. Which brings us to the fans. Let's be real. Cleveland fans have been through hell. They've sat through 0 to 16 seasons. They've watched first-round picks flame out in real time. They've endured coach after coach, regime after regime, with the same blind faith that maybe this time it'll work. And when Shedeur came to town, it felt like maybe, finally, this was it. Not just a quarterback, but a spark. Someone you could build around. Someone who brought identity to a team that's had none. Someone who could be more than just a player, but a symbol that Cleveland could believe in. And now, those fans are angry. And not the kind of angry that goes away after a win. This is existential anger. The kind that seeps in. That makes season ticket holders reconsider. That makes loyal fans stop defending you online. That makes people start using words like disrespect and betrayal. Because when you bench a player that everyone believes in for no reason other than wait your turn, it doesn't feel like a football decision. It feels like a lie. And when trust breaks between a team and its fans, good luck getting it back. Now let's zoom out, because this isn't just a Cleveland story. This is an NFL story. This is a modern sports story. We live in an era where rookies aren't just players. They're platforms. They're brands. They're movements. And when someone like Shedeur Sanders enters the league with the hype, the pedigree, the poise, and the talent to match, you don't bench that. You build around it. You don't protect him from the spotlight. You give him the microphone. That's what other franchises would have done. Atlanta, Vegas, Houston, even Detroit. They would have handed Shedeur the keys and dared the league to stop him. But Cleveland? Cleveland's trying to run a Ferrari in the slow lane. And the worst part? They know it. There's no way they don't see what's happening. The locker room division, the media pressure, the internal discontent, the angry fans, the declining morale, the slipping season. They're watching the same train everyone else is watching. They're just too proud to pull the brakes. And here's the final twist. If they wait too long, Shedeur might not even be there to save them, because the NFL is watching. Other teams are watching. And if Shedeur decides, quietly, professionally, as he always does, that he'd rather thrive somewhere else than rot behind stubborn decision-makers, you think teams won't line up? Please. They'll be knocking on doors with blank checks and offensive coordinators ready to build an entire system around him. And the Browns? They'll be left wondering how they fumbled the one thing this franchise has never had, a star quarterback who actually wanted to stay. So here's the bottom line. The locker room has turned. The fan base is teetering. The league is buzzing. And the man who could fix it all? Still on the bench. But for how much longer? Because silence only lasts so long. And the moment Shedeur Sanders finally gets the nod, whether in Cleveland or somewhere else, the Browns won't just face questions. They'll face regret. So I'll leave you with this. Do you think Shedeur will stay silent forever? Or are we one more fumble away from watching Cleveland lose the one player who could have saved them? Let me know in the comments. And hit that subscribe button for more fire coverage of the NFL's biggest meltdowns, drama, and power struggles. Because this saga is far from over.